Hello, Miss Elizabeth here for First Congregational Church of Muskegon, Michigan. Confirmation class for Sunday, February 7th, 2021. We are following Progressive Christianity curriculum, and the church has purchased this curriculum. But I should tell you up front, we do not own the copyrights to this material. We're on Unit 5, The Search for Understanding. By calling ourselves progressive Christians, we mean that we are Christians who find grace in the search for understanding. And we believe that there is more value in questioning than in absolutes. And our second lesson of this unit, we are going to talk about the Bible. The Bible is a series of books. A lot of times we think of it as one book, but it's actually many books written by many different people in different times, sometimes hundreds of years apart. But it's all compiled into one place. And we can use the Bible for a number of different purposes, and some of those are as a historical document that gives us a window into the past. We can use it as a source of universal spiritual ideas, questions, examples, and reflections. We can use it as a connection to the wisdom of the teacher Jesus. A.W. Tozer said this about the Bible: "The Bible is not an end in itself, but a means to bring men to an intimate and satisfying knowledge of God, that they may enter into Him, that they may delight in His presence, may taste and know the inner sweetness of the very God Himself in the core and center of their hearts." And also Fred Plumer said, "The question becomes, what does the Bible tell us? What is it about? And how should we use it? I think the most important thing is to not try to make it the workbook for being a human. The Bible gives us the right questions: how to live our lives, how to live together, how to form community, how to treat not only each other, but everything around us. It may not give us the answers, but it provides us with the questions to help us find the right answers, so that we can live together in harmony." Often the first thing that people use the Bible for is to learn about Jesus. Reading about how Jesus lived and the things He taught can help us on our own journey of understanding. Jesus was a very special person, and our service today, Reverend Tim is going to talk about "In My Father's House," the story in the Bible about Jesus as a young student. The Bible is a very good history lesson, and we can discover how people lived long ago and how their ideas influenced religion and language and other cultures, and eventually influenced us. The people we read about in the Bible had a culture and a language and a religion very different from ours, and yet they were very much like us. One example of how people in the Bible did things a little differently than we do now is how they measured things. We measure things with rulers. We measure the size of things in inches or sometimes centimeters, feet, yards. All of these things measure the size of things. But people in biblical times used the human body as a way to measure things. For example, the hand breadth. That's all 4 fingers pressed close together. And so this distance, that's a hand breadth. About 3 or 4 inches, depending on the size of your hand. Obviously, it's going to vary depending on who's doing the measuring. Another way of measuring things that the people of those times used was a span, and that is from the tip of the thumb to the outstretched pinky finger tip, and in most adults it's right around 9 inches. I have really small hands, so mine doesn't even make it to 8 inches, but you can see how there was a difference in the measurements depending on who was doing the measuring. However, it was always very handy. You didn't have to know where you'd put your ruler to do the measurements. Another measurement that was used in Bible time was called the cubit, and that was from the tip of the elbow all the way up to the tallest finger. And for most adults, that was about 18 inches. Again, I'm shorter, so mine is less. But you may have heard about the Bible story of David and Goliath. David was a shepherd boy, and Goliath was a giant. It was said that Goliath was said to be 6 cubits and 1 span tall, which would be about 117 inches tall, which is 9 3/4 feet tall. That's pretty tall. One of the other ways that we measure things is by other things other than size. Advertising is a way that measures things a lot. You know, you have something that's the newest or the best or the lowest calories or the most percentage of good stuff in it. One of those campaigns was a very famous ad campaign from a long time ago when Ivory Soap was first invented. The manufacturers wanted to let people know that Ivory Soap had only good stuff in it, and it was said to be 99 44/100% pure. That was an ad campaign giving a measurement, but it gave you some idea of the value of what you were looking at. Another feature about Ivory Soap, and you probably know this already, but when soap is being made, its liquid ingredients are put in a machine to mix it up and incorporate air into the mix before it dries into the cakes of soap. And what happened was with Ivory Soap, one of the batches, somebody made a mistake and left it on the mixing machine for way too long, and a lot of extra air got incorporated into it. But instead of stopping doing that and throwing away that batch, they discovered that that extra air made Ivory Soap the soap that floats. Another good thing. And that measurement was something that they used in advertising. Something else you can do that shows the specialness of having extra air inside the Ivory Soap is to take a piece of soap, and I've just cut a 4-ounce bar of soap into thirds so it's more manageable. But put that Ivory Soap with its extra air inside on a paper plate. Put it in your microwave for 44 seconds. And this is what it comes out like. Look at that. It's a flowy, fluffy, full of air thing. It's still soap, and you actually can crush it down and actually still use it as soap. But it's really fun to watch that soap grow from this to this inside your microwave. And I kind of think of using the Bible in that same way. It's a book, and you can read it and forget about what you read. But it's got something special, something extra inside of it. And if you open your mind and open your heart to the teachings of it, that can grow and expand and help you on your spiritual journey. I hope you'll try this experiment. Let me know how it goes. See you next time.